Today is history in the making. We're about to embark on our first ever last story standing competition. We had over 260 contestants nationwide. Imagine speakers who want to get up on stage and speak. Shocking, I know. 25 chapters were represented. It comes down to the final 3 regional champions. And let me just tell you for a minute what they have done. Not only have they beat out 257 others, but I was lucky enough to be both my chapter, FSA, Florida Speakers Association, my chapter judge, and then I was a regional judge. All of the speeches, all of the stories were great. It was really tough to find 3, but I sat in the rehearsals. These 3 are amazing. So please welcome to the stage. Oh, I'm sorry, before we bring them out, we've got our committee. My mistake. Please welcome to the stage the last story standing committee who is going to let the contestants know what they think about what they did. Mike Bryan. Patricia Fripp. Kelly Swanson. And Frank Kitchen. These guys are here to provide us with fun and laughter and a bit of feedback for each contestant. But here's what you have to remember. As much as they wanted to be, they're not the judges. You are. Judging is based on 3 aspects of professional speaking and storytelling: marketability, impact, and presentation. So if you all are ready, give a big NSA welcome to the inaugural regional champions as we bring them to the stage. Michelle McCullough, CSP, representing Mountain West. Jeff Rogers, representing the Illinois chapter. And representing New England, Trent Theroux. All right, champions. I just want to give you the rules because we want you all to win and we want them to know how they're judging. So number 1, you've got 5 minutes from your first word to your last word. There's a timer right there, and it's going to start the second you start talking. They had asked me, by the way, that if you go over, I'm supposed to escort you over the stage, but I realize now you'll just laugh at me. So just stay within 5 minutes so we don't have to disqualify anyone. Number 2, no props are allowed in the telling of the story. And number 3, you must stick to the same storyline you used throughout the chapter and regional competitions. You agree to those rules?
100%.
Okay, have a seat. NSA, are you ready? So here we go. My beautiful assistant will help me with the names. That wasn't even a reach, pal.
I'm sorry.
And our first regional champion is Michelle McCullough.
This month, my husband and I will celebrate 21 years of marriage. Thank you. We met in a statistics class in college. Aw, what are the odds? When we first got married, we moved into a cute little cookie-cutter starter home community where all the homes were exactly the same, 3 beds, 2 baths. There were lots of young couples just like us with no kids, and some with 1 or 2 kids, and they just enveloped us into their social circles. We had date nights out, and game nights in, and craft nights, and stamp nights, and we even brought our junk into 1 yard each year for our annual yard sale. We basically just bought each other's stuff and took it home, but as they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. As time went on, our friends had more and more kids, and they became less and less fun. My husband and I, we stayed dinks, dual income, no kids, for a little while, and at about 4 years in, the family across the street from us moved, and my husband and I literally prayed that a young couple just like us with no kids would move in across the street. One summer day, I'm out to lunch with one of these friends, and I get a phone call from my husband, which is odd because he knows where I am, but I answer anyway. I say hello. He does not say hello. He says, "I have good news and bad news." Okay? He said, "The moving van just showed up, and the good news is there's a young couple just like us with no kids moving in across the street." Yes. I sat in a state of euphoria for just a minute, thinking of fun times ahead, and then I felt that glimmer of gloom when I remembered what he said first, and I said, "Wait, what's the bad news?" He said, "It's your ex-husband." And his new wife. So, perhaps this is the point in the story where I tell you I was married before. Some people have starter homes. I had a starter husband. And we did the obligatory, "Wait, are you sure it's him?" And he said, "Yes. Remember that one time we ran into him at Walmart, and I went and introduced myself, and he said his name is Courtney. How many male Courtneys do you know?" So I do what any normal person would do. I finish lunch, I go home, I grab a chair from the kitchen table, I plop it in front of the living room window, and I lifted the blinds ever so slightly. I sat there for 2 days. I'm not saying it was healthy, and yes, I went to the bathroom and slept at night, but for the first little bit, I had to make sure it was him, and then I had to see her, and then I had so many thoughts going on in this head of mine, many questions. Now, maybe you have some questions. Allow me an opportunity to answer them for you. No, he had no idea where I lived, or he would not have moved there. Yes, I did look up the odds. It's 1 in 300,000. No, we did not become couple BFFs and have date night, game night. And 5, we lived across the street from each other for 5 years. About 3 years in, my husband says to me one day, I forget that that's your ex-husband that lives across the street." I remember every day. And not only do I remember that Courtney lives there with his wife, but I remember the heartache. I remember the nights I cried myself to sleep. I remember being married and feeling totally alone. I also remember telling myself, one man's trash is another man's treasure. One man's trash is another man's treasure. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I hope your ex never moves in across the street. Or whatever your metaphorical ex is, the great equalizer for all of us is that we all have challenges. I would pray for you, but my prayers turn out weird. What I can promise is that happiness is possible, even if your daily micro-stressors and your past are staring at you from across the street. We all know that the optimist looks on the bright side, but I know that being the optimist isn't enough. You have to be what I call the happiest. The happiest doesn't just look on the bright side, they live there. You have one life. Make it the happiest.
Kelly, let's start with you. Do you have some words for our contestant?
I'll keep it brief. It was perfectly scripted and yet delivered as a conversation. An excellent callback.
Patricia.
I love that you set up life as perfect and the details, great organic humor. I like it that your husband, in his dialogue, brought in the bad news. Again, you answered the audience's unasked question, did you get to be good friends? That was great. And of course, the great callback at the end, fabulous.
Mike.
You know, I love that this is kind of a vulnerable story. I mean, you know, you're telling us something that was very emotional and had a lot of impact on your life. And I think that's important, and I think that that helps resonate the message that you were delivering. And your invitation to bring all of our own life situations into how we handle those situations was really great. And I think your reaction with the audience and your timing with the audience really, really turned it into a great story.
And Frank.
You know, incorporating humor to any speech is difficult, but the difficult part is pausing to let the audience laugh with you. And having only 5 minutes to give your presentation, but building in time to stop, listen to the laughs, and then go back into your story was great, of which the big piece was, I noticed, 7 is a lucky number. You stopped right on the number 7. We'll see how that helps you out later today.
Okay, y'all, let's hear it for our first contestant. Okay, Vanna, if you would.
Go low, go low, go low, go low.
Oh. Okay, number 2, Trent Theroux.
How resilient are you? It's a question I ask my clients every day. Some will tell me, I'll be resilient when it's thrust upon me. But, speakers, what if I told you as a way to plan for your resiliency? Pretty cool, right? 20 years ago, I went kayaking in the bay by my house. I love swimming and kayaking in the bay. I went 2 miles out to the point, and on my way back, I heard there was a boat behind me. And I paddled off to the side a little bit. A minute later, I heard the boat, and it was still coming really fast at me. I grabbed my paddle, and I went, hey, hey! It stayed right on my line. I knew I didn't have much time to react, but I thought, if I can go under the boat will go right over me. I dove out. I took one big breaststroke pull, and I came to appreciate the Doppler effect. The pitch of the engine got higher as the boat got closer. Then, the boat hit me. Getting hit by a boat is like being tackled a football. It just knocks the wind out of you. Next, come the propellers. 1, 2, 3, 4 times, knocking me deeper into the water. The last thought I had was, my kids are going to learn about this in the morning news. Dad washes ashore. 2 days later, I woke up in the hospital. The propellers severed all the major muscles on the left side of my back, carved out 5 pieces of my spine, and left me completely paralyzed from the waist down. When you have a traumatic accident in the hospital, they give you a plunger. You can self-medicate with morphine, but the morphine's not for pain. You have got plenty of pain medication in the IV. The morphine is for anxiety, like when your doctor comes in the room, he squeezes your toe, and you can't feel it. Or your mother-in-law comes in the room. And wants to know how you're going to provide for her daughter. It was 8 o'clock that night, and 8 o'clock in our house was ritual time. I would always give my young son, Max, a horsey ride to bed. I'm sure many of you did as well. But I knew I wasn't going to that night. I wasn't sure if I was going to again. On the table next to me is a pad and a pen, and I picked them up, and I started to think about what I wanted to do, and I started to write things I wanted to do with my life. Have you ever heard of the term a bucket list? Sure. I don't like that term because a bucket list implies you're going to kick the bucket and die. I was writing a list because I was going to live. I decided to call my list my coming attractions. Do you want to see what's on my list? Okay. Number 1, walk. I thought that was a good place to start. Spoiler alert, I can walk now. Although it took a couple years of rehabilitation. Number 2, lift my children. 3, hold my wife. I wasn't quite sure about the equipment at that point. But then I got a little more exotic. I said, I want to climb a skyscraper. I want to go on safari. I want to, the last one, I want to swim the English Channel. Have you ever noticed if you write something down, you're more likely to make it happen? I agree with that. If you write something down, you will make it happen. If you merely think about it, you will wish it away. List your coming attractions. It's the first lesson I teach my developing resilient leaders. List your coming attractions. And that put me on the shores of the English Channel for the first of my 4 long-distance ocean swims for charity. To date, I've raised over $300,000 through my swimming to provide durable medical goods for people with spinal cord injuries, all because I listed my coming attractions. Speakers, you don't have to get hit by a boat or have a mother-in-law to list your coming attractions. All you need is a pen. I see you have one there. Let's pick it up together, and we can start to plan for your resiliency.
Okay, let's hear what our panel has to say. Patricia, why don't you start this time?
This is a wonderfully dramatic story. However, it's easier for us to listen to because we see it has a happy ending. I loved how you introduced Dad washes ashore rather than Dad dead. Very good. There is an old expression in NSA for the new timers, some people will do anything for a good speech. This was a great example. The sight gag of can't feel my toes, mother-in-law, brilliant. And we all have changed our bucket list for coming attractions, which means we'll never forget you.
But Patricia, you said coming attractions, but Trent, it's now become now showing. Because as you said here, you had 3 things that you wanted to do. You actually said 4, but you said number 1 was you wanted to walk. But we saw you do more than walk. I mean, many of us as speakers forget about the fact of slides and videos and props, but you use the ultimate prop, which is your body, and understand that you got hit by a boat, and you're out here being very expressive and showing us how we can use our bodies when we don't have all this technology and things to hold us down. You said you wanted to lift children. You lifted us all up. And more importantly, you said you wanted to hold your wife. I believe you held us all captivated with the way you used your body. Thank you so much.
Mike, what do you think?
You know, I really loved how quickly you set up the message of the story at the beginning so that we could kind of understand where we were going with it. I feel the way that you described it so quickly in the beginning, I felt like I was in the water with you. I mean, I literally was like, oh man, this is not going to be fun. And I feel that that was really, really good. And being able to use humor in such a traumatic story, which enabled the rhythm of the story not to get locked down in the high emotion, but switch that emotion between the humor and the fact that you were willing to embrace it and just move on with it, helped us with that message in our own lives. It was great. Thank you.
tagging off of that a little bit, I did love how you had a great lead-in statement that gave us context and teased to where you would be going without giving away what it would be about. So we had that. I love that you stood inside the story to tell it, instead of standing outside of the story and telling me about it. That was brilliant. And I love the incredible way that you wove content all the way through a 5-minute story, ending the question of whether story is considered content. Well done.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Good job. All right. I know what you all are thinking. Who could possibly be next? I don't know, but luckily I have my assistant here. And let's see who it could be. All right, big surprise, big surprise. Oh my goodness, Jeff Rogers. I know.
Excuse me! Excuse me!
30 yards away, a 6'7", 350-pound giant was headed right towards me. This was the day I learned the power of play. It was the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, the day of the big sales, and I needed a coat. So I figured I'd go to Macy's, but I would go in the afternoon, after the big crazy rush in the morning. Still get a good deal on a coat, but avoid the insanity. To which my wife replied, "Bless your heart." So I'm in Macy's, I'm trying on coats when I hear, "Excuse me, can you help me?" That's when I saw the giant. I mean, this guy was as big as Shaquille O'Neal, after having eaten Shaquille O'Neal. I looked over at the cashiers, and when they saw the giant, it was as if something broke inside of them. Like they just gave up the will to live. I give up. I just do it, whatever. I looked back at the giant, and that was the moment that I realized the giant wasn't headed towards the cashiers. The giant was headed directly towards me. He must have thought I worked there. I mean, I was dressed like this, and fair. Excuse me, can you help me find a coat? What would you do? I mean, have you ever had a giant problem? I mean, I could have froze like the cashiers, right? I could have fought the giant, or I could have just run away. Instead, I chose to use my superpower, my ability to respond, my response ability. Now, to be fair, we all have this ability. We can't always control the things that happen in our day. Our manager's having a bad day, or our customer is thinking about going with the competition. But we can control how we respond to that. And me, I chose empathy. I chose to play along and help the giant out. Yeah, I can help you. Now, what kind of coat were you looking for? A puffy coat? Although, with your frame, I wouldn't suggest it. Hey, how about a car coat? What's a car coat? It's a coat you wear in a car. Tell you what, let's try it on. So we did. We started trying on coats. Now, I've never worked in a clothing store before, but I've tried on coats, and I had him do the arm thing. And he did it. His arms unfurled like a pterodactyl. Woo, 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 woo. It was glorious. Oh, I like it. Does it come in any other colors? Oh, let me find out. Susan, not her real name. Susan, do we have this in any other colors? No, Steve, not my real name. Everything we have is on the floor. Yeah, because of the big sale, everything's on the floor. So I gotta tell you, it looks good on you. I really like the leather piping. Never said the words leather piping before. I like it too. You know what, I'll take it, and thank you. I don't usually get very good service. And with that, the giant took his coat and he walked away. I grabbed mine, went up to the cashiers who had huge grins on their faces and said, "Do you have a Macy's card?" I was like, "No." "That's all right, we're gonna give you the Macy's discount. In fact, we're gonna give you an employee discount because for 5 minutes you worked here." That was wonderful. And it was wonderful. The giant, well, he got some attention that it sounded like he doesn't get very often. And the cashier's got a smile on what's got to be the worst day of the year. And I got a great deal on a coat, but more importantly, I got to choose how I responded. And I chose to play because when we play, we lower the stakes. It allows us to try on different perspectives, come up with different ideas. You know, they say that we stop playing because we get older, but in reality, we get older because we stop playing. So next time you have a giant problem, use your responsibility and ask yourself, want to play?
And I got to tell you, everyone hit the time, but you hit it on 0. That was awesome. All right, Mike, what do you got for us?
I was actually holding my breath. I was going 5, 4. I really loved how you brought the characters in really quickly and really distinctly. And you know, as you built the stories, you started going through, I actually could see the scene, the storefront, actually come together because you were referring to people in different places of the store. And you kept that consistent, which helped me really visualize that with my imagination. But I think the most powerful thing for me that you did really well was you broke out of the story, right in the middle of it, to set up the purpose of the story, and you were able to really, really elegantly slide right back into the story. And that's super dangerous, but you did it really, really well. I think it was great.
Patricia.
I loved that you immediately got into the action with dialogue and then set up where you were. It's very, very effective. Most of what you did was in dialogue, which was wonderful. I realized that you were such a nice person that I want to know more from how you acted, and it was a good lesson for all of us. When you stood fairly still, but through your body, not only did you tell the story, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, like you, I saw it, but I saw a larger scene than the space you took. And your shorter sentences had a wonderful rhythm. Your rhythm was so good, I could dance to your speech.
Woohoo! I'm glad I'm not following that, but Kelly, you are.
Yeah.
The contest is not over here.
Thank heavens. Right?
Kelly Swanson on the big board.
It is brilliant humor that makes us think it looks so easy. I loved giant problem, responsibility, anchor words, takeaways. I loved that. Sometimes humor, I think, can be misperceived or seen as less important. And you showed us here how incredibly relevant you can make humor in a presentation. You wrote and spoke the way you talk in conversation, which is brilliant, and great use of character, and letting us easily shift to the different people in your story. Very Well done.
Mike, who gets to talk next?
Frank.
Oh, Frank! Frank!
What do I say after these three? A lot of us as speakers tend to lecture, and this is a storytelling competition. And with your range of emotions and facial expressions, you brought all of us into the story. And the reason everybody here was laughing was you'll watch different speakers, especially new speakers, will come out and they make it all about themselves, but several times you stop to ask us a question. Have you had a big problem? Have you experienced this? Do you know what I'm talking about? And you brought us in, and the reason we laughed was you made us think. And many of us were thinking about us having the same experience that you did, and that's why you're so great here on stage today. Thank you so much.
Let's hear it for Jeff. Okay, so just a little bit of inside baseball. We sat through the rehearsals. We didn't see the whole talks, but we saw part of them. We figured all this out. It never dawned on me that two things were going to happen. Number one, not only did we hear great stories, but we all got a master class in how to tell stories. You guys were amazing. And then, to have these masters actually deconstruct the story and show us the technical proficiency, the things that we can learn from. Our facts are different, we tell different stories, but our truths are universal, and you guys shared them beautifully, so thank you. So here's the deal. You all get to vote. That's hard. You have until 11 a.m. This is a wrap of our inaugural competition, but it's not the end of your work. You know how hard these folks, and actually the other 257, 37, 20, how much was it, Mike? A lot. The other contestants worked to make this happen. So please vote for your favorite. It's not easy, but it's important. Thank you all very, very much. So we are ready. It is time to bring everybody involved in the contest back onto stage. So first, our panel. I think y'all are right here, so come on up. You guys did an awesome job. Thank you. And next, we're going to bring up our three finalists. Come on up. Now here's the deal. You all voted. And I can tell you from what I heard, every time I heard someone say, who's your favorite? And someone mentioned a name, they would say, yeah, they were great. But how about so-and-so? Yeah, they were great. But how about so-and-so? And it went round and round and round. But as awesome as y'all were, there's only one winner. And we all are about to find out who it is. So ladies and gentlemen, NSA's first ever Last Story Standing national champion is, drum roll please, Jeff Rogers!